Welcome back to the Coding Fanatic YouTube channel. I'm your host Richard, and here at Coding Fanatic, I teach new developers and those of you on the fence about Android development about the key pillars needed to be successful as an Android developer. Those include committing to your projects and seeing them through to completion, learning new skills, and finding good ways to work on teams with other people. If that sounds like content that you're interested in, then hit subscribe and turn on notifications to see when I upload new content like this each week. Also, head on over to the Coding Fanatic website and join the mailing list, and you'll be the first to know when I have new content around these topics available. For those of you who are new to the channel, I have spent the last couple months learning Kotlin and getting introduced to the language, figuring out some of the basics so that I can find a more efficient way of building apps. Kotlin uses less code and condenses the entire software development process more so than Java, or at least for Android anyway. So I thought, hey, it'd be a good skill to pick up and learn so that I can be more efficient about building my apps. Last time I mentioned that I wanted to use the Kotlin compiler locally to build my apps. So just a quick rundown. When I am doing coding exercises with the tools that I'm using, I use the Kotlin Playground website in order to test my code. Go on the website, you punch in your code, and you can compile it right there. However, I found that it would be more efficient if I install the Kotlin compiler locally. I mean, I'm going to have to do it eventually anyway because I'm going to be building Kotlin apps and not just learning the syntax of the language. So I figure, what the heck, let's get that compiler installed locally. So that was the game plan. I was ready to do it. Last week I did my Kotlin live stream and I sat down and got everything set up and went on the website, and it did not go quite as I had planned. The Kotlin website has a full tutorial on how to do the entire process. So I just, found it on the website and I did it step by step. I started by downloading the most recent up-to-date version of the Kotlin compiler. I extracted it and I put it in the target folder that I wanted to use as my directory for the Kotlin compiler. After this, I went over to my environment variables, and the next part was to update them with the location of the bin folder in the wherever your install directory is for the Kotlin compiler. Seems simple enough, and I went in, I did it, updated my environment variables, and when I tried to compile a Kotlin file, it didn't work. So something went wrong. So I go back, I check my environment variable. Everything's where it's supposed to be, but I figured that maybe I put it in my documents. So most people would put that in their program files directory. So I thought, hey, let's move it over there and try it again. Moved it, updated the environment variable, still not working. So I tried renaming the folder, updated the environment variable, still not working. Everything I tried, it seemed like it just would not work. I could not figure it out. Then I had a thought. I'm working in Windows 10, and I updated my system environment variable with the location of the Kotlin compiler. But when I went to compile the actual Kotlin files, I was using the git bash terminal that I installed on my machine. But the git bash terminal, because it uses bash, it has its own bash profile, which if I want to add commands, I have to update that separately. I didn't think about this. So the whole time I'm sitting here using the git bash, using the git bash terminal and typing the same Kotlin C to try and compile a file over and over and over. And it kind of dawned on me that I should use the Windows terminal. So I switched over. I used the Windows terminal and navigated to the directory where my file was, hit Kotlin compile, and it started downloading dependencies. A lot of them. It went on for about maybe 20 minutes, at least 20 minutes. And mind you, I'm still live streaming. So what happened was, as the dependencies downloaded, it affected my upload speed for my internet, and so the video on YouTube, the video stream got kind of messed up because it was downloading all these different files. It was a mess, man. But I learned a few things through that whole process. Number one, environment variables. You have your system-wide environment variables, and you have your local environment variables. They're two different things. I kept updating the system environment variables and having to enter my admin password each time. Now, I mean, for me, it's not a big deal, but while I'm doing a live stream, I'd rather not have the screen keep blanking while I'm doing this over and over and over. I typed in environment variables in the search bar in Windows, and two options came up, and the second one said edit your account environment variable. So I felt kind of dumb, like, damn, I could have done this the whole time. And if you're editing it for your own account, you don't need admin credentials because you're the only one using them. This is also effective if you're working on a shared computer. So for those of you out there who are on a shared machine, if you want to work on Kotlin on your computer, like if you're sharing it, you can do this without affecting other users on your computer. So I mean that was a pretty big lesson to learn from all this. But I'd say that the larger lesson in all of this was that don't set up your local environment on a live stream. Just don't do it. It takes a long time. Downloading all these different dependencies and trying to figure everything out, it's too much. You can make a video about this process, but to do a live stream of the whole thing, I wouldn't recommend it, because when I started downloading those dependencies, I mean, my internet speed tanked. And even the download speed, and that was a weird thing, because I was downloading like 900 megabytes of dependencies, almost a whole gigabyte, but it took forever. So I don't know. I don't completely understand what went wrong in that part of it, but what I took away from it is that I should set up my local environment first, and then I can do a live stream where I'm doing the coding exercises. That was the whole point. That was my whole goal, was to show people me doing it completely, like, with no idea what I'm doing. I'm just going in fresh, no idea how to do it. I went on the Kotlin website, I found a tutorial, I went step by step, but unfortunately it was just that was not a good time to do it during a live stream. So, hey, it was my first one. You gotta learn sometime, right? So I'm not even mad about it. But like I said, the two big takeaways were, if you want to edit your environment variables, you can edit your own local environment variable without needing admin credentials, number one. Number two, you should not set up your local environment while live streaming, because it just is very messy. Also, and this takes me back to one of I worked with this one company when I was some years ago, and setting up your local environment took like the better part of 2 days because of how long it took to get all the dependencies downloaded and things like that. Like, there were parts in the, not 2 full work days, but the working time, it takes about 2 days just to get everything you need set up. But downloading dependencies is one of the most annoying things because it takes so long. You can't do anything. You just have to let the computer sit there and just wait for it to finish before you move on to the next step. So those are my two big takeaways. But I won't do another Kotlin live stream until I have this compiler set up, because there's no way in heck. There's just no way that I'm doing that over again on camera. That's too much, man. Yeah, but lessons learned. If you guys have any advice or tips on the most efficient way to set up the Kotlin compiler, let me know in the comments below. And let's start a conversation about this. A brief one, I hope. Before I go, you guys, for those of you who are new to the channel, these two acrylic paintings up here, I got those from Late Bloomer. I'll link their Instagram in the message below, or in the box below, or in the description. And also this piece of artwork here from Sucker Free Art, I'll link their Instagram as well below. But yeah, that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in to the Coding Fanatic YouTube channel. I'm your host, Richard. Again, if you like content like this, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. And if you really want to know when I drop this new content before anyone else, head to the Coding Fanatic website and join the mailing list. Again, thank you all for tuning in. I'm your host, Richard, signing out, and I will see you all on the next one. Peace.